Ryan Neiman, Brian Wilson, Mary Catherine Ham, today's newsmakers, and you. The Morning Majority, 630.
Good morning, everybody. It's 6:37. Did you see the Redskins last night in that last preseason game? They won 29-24. We thought we'd check in with TREVOR MATICH this morning and see what he thought about it and get him to weigh in on the quarterback controversy. But first, Trevor, I have a question, and it has to do with Brandon Banks and that 95-yard run back for a touchdown that almost wasn't a touchdown because he was hot dogging, and as he approached the goal line and he let go of the ball maybe just a half a second too early. I mean, it ultimately went the Redskins' way, but I'm really sick and tired of all of the hot dogging. It just drives me crazy. It's like, this is their job. This is what they get paid to do. Do your job, and then just be respectful and go back to the bench. Set a good example for the youth of America. And now that I've asked that awesome question, woo! That was great! Yeah! All right.
He's wound up today, as you can tell.
See, I'm just doing my job. I ask questions for a living, but would that be appropriate for people to do in their regular workday lives?
Don't you try and have fun at work every once in a while, Brian?
Yeah, but I don't hot dog because I did something right. You say, hey, that was wonderful. Let's move on. It's your job. Am I off base here, Trevor?
No, listen. If you read a really good news story that came across the wire and you made no mistakes, you spike the microphone right there.
That's right.
What you do. You know what though? The thing is that was so close to being such an epic fail.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Gus Frerotte right now, former Redskins quarterback, is mostly known not for a long successful career, but for headbutting the stadium and injuring his own neck after scoring. That's what he's known for. Leon Lett, the Dallas Cowboys defensive lineman, is mostly known not for a great career, but for having the ball knocked out of his hand, hot dogging, going into a score after he picked up a turnover because the Buffalo Bill ran him down and knocked it out.
Yep.
And that's what Leon Lett's known for all these years later. Well, Brandon Banks, even though it's preseason, might have cemented himself into that group. But you know what? I don't mind, though, Brian. I don't mind in this case, and this is why. Brandon Banks has been sitting on the sidelines most of preseason, watching other guys do his job and do it well enough to possibly take his job if he didn't get fully healthy. Every day he had angst. His stomach was turning. And all of a sudden, he finally is healthy enough to get a chance. He rips off an epic return for a touchdown. And I give him slack for being out of his mind excited. Now, if he does it in the regular season, I'll be right there to help you.
Well, I get all that, but, the kids see this. And now you go to soccer games, and you see the same kind of showboating among the kids. And it's not good sportsmanship in my mind.
Yeah, well, you're right. In general, it's not. And the thing is, I was on the field. The Chicago Bears used to have a running back named, not Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, used to have a running back named Barry Sanders.
Yep.
And I was on the field when he scored his first touchdown. I helped block for that touchdown. And what was interesting to me was that he didn't keep the ball. He didn't spike the ball. He didn't do a backflip. He scored his first NFL touchdown. He flipped the ball to the official and jogged off the field.
Exactly.
Act like you've been there before,
act like you've been
and like
there,
you
even when
expect
you
to be there again.
Well, I don't have a problem with celebrating as long as it's something to celebrate about. I get teed off when you have a lineman sacking a quarterback when they're down by 25 points and doing a dance. That's when I get upset about it.
That's bad. I'll tell you who wanted to celebrate after this game, though, was John Beck.
Yeah.
Quarterback in competition with Rex Grossman, and he had very little to celebrate after this game. He knew that he failed.
It was the worst of the three games for him, and Grossman didn't play. Why didn't they play Grossman yesterday?
It's interesting because 15 guys didn't play. Most of them were either starters or key backups. Guys like London Fletcher and Brian Arakpo and Santana Moss didn't play. And what Shanahan says is that he didn't play Grossman to even out the pass attempts between the quarterbacks in the preseason. Grossman had about twice as many pass attempts as Beck, and that's what he said the reason was, and I have no reason to disbelieve that. But a lot of Beck's passes in this game were just, once again, fails. All he has to do in this offense is hit the guy who's open and gain 5 yards. That's it. There were a lot of passes where he had the open guy, and he just flat missed him. It wasn't, not because of pressure, although he did have a lot of pressure, but because he was just purely inaccurate. And that should give you pause if you're the Redskins wanting to give him this job.
So is it going Grossman's way, you think?
It might be now. We talked about this yesterday, that if everything breaks equally, I think you go with Beck. But the Redskins coaches have to look at this and say, was it an aberration, or is this a problem with Beck's consistency? Because the quarterback, if he gets any protection at all, who starts against the Giants, has a chance to look really good because the Giants' secondary has a ton of injuries. The problem is their pass rush is still one of the best in the league. So that quarterback will need to know where to go, get the ball out accurately and quickly. And if he gets it out of his hand, then there should be a good chance to get a lot of catches. Well, that's if you hit the receiver somewhere where he can catch it. And Beck did not do that with consistency last night. And that's where, if I'm him, I'm a little worried.
Trevor, you remember Rex Grossman several weeks ago proclaimed that the Redskins could win or would win the NFC East, and everybody mostly laughed at him. But lo and behold, yesterday, I find that Michael Lombardi of NFL.com analyst says the Redskins to me this summer have shown more than any other team in the NFC East. I like Washington on a Bill Simmons podcast. What's the dealio?
Yeah, Mary Catherine, that's a great point. By the way, in the intro, do you realize that you have almost as many names as the two Bryans combined?
It's true. It's true. Actually, with my married name, I do have as many names as
there you go. No, but that's right. They pick him to win the NFC East, and I think that's a bold prediction that will get him on the air a lot. That's probably the only
there
one
we go. It's the Chaz Bono of predictions. Ratings, people.
That's right.
But another major national publication has them picked last in the NFC in power ratings. Last in the NFC, which is like that's out of their mind as well, I think. But in some ways, he's right. If the quarterbacks perform better than like they did the first three preseason games, and with the problems on the other teams in the NFC East, because there are issues now on the other teams, the Redskins have a chance to not be the worst, which would be an improvement.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Trevor. We'll talk to you next Friday. We'll get a preview of the Giants game, and we'll put you on the hot spot. I want a prediction for the record for the season next Friday as well.
Oh,
there you go. Yeah. Put him on the record.
If I get it right, I'm going to spike something.
Yeah, right. Fair enough.
Hey, wait a minute.
Trevor Matich for the Redskins Report, brought to you by Fork Union Military Academy.